100.9 FM. Media station. WTUG HD2 Northport. W265CG Tuscaloosa. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Program. So glad you've chosen to be with us this morning as we get things rolling. Make sure that you lock in 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, live, local, and ready to get things going. Also, join us online. If you're not able to get us on the radio dial, tell your family and friends about what we have to offer there, as they can always join, like, follow, share, and support the live stream on the various outlets on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. We also will be adding DC Capstone Report to the conversation today. So it'll be a great show with him. We'll have some of the same topics we had yesterday, getting his perspective on things as we continue our review of 8A, the good, the bad, the ugly, QB eval, running back room, biggest concerns, biggest excitement. Also, a little conversation happening on the hardwood around transfers in and out, as Nate Oates has to make a tough call on yesterday. Get your thoughts and opinions on that. So I want to invite you once again to get in on the conversation on the Alabama One hotline, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline, live, local, and ready to get things going. And remember this: trust in the Lord always. Lean not your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Let's have a great show. Good morning, DC. How you doing, sir?
Oh, doing great, Martin. How are you this morning?
Doing well. Good morning, X. How you doing, sir?
Good morning, doing
All
well.
All right, let's have a good one, guys, as we continue that conversation that X and I had yesterday and bring you in on it, DC. As we look to 8A, I'll let you just give a quick rundown. Don't go too deep into any topic right off, because we want to dig a little deeper on each one of them as we go, but just kind of give an overall assessment of takeaway from 8A.
Well, I think it was a great day. I enjoyed being there. Great weather. I thought it was a really good crowd, close to 60,000 people. I thought the teams played with both
both sides played with some intensity. I was impressed with our defense. Thought we really played really well, especially with the secondary and safeties. We can evaluate the quarterback play. I think there was good and bad on each side and everyone. Really strong running back room, looks to be really strong, especially with adding Richard Young later in the summer. I think that's going to be a plus as well. And I think overall got a little feel of the offense, a little more balanced attack, throwing the tight ends, mid-range throws, deep throws, and working in the running game. So was impressed with that. So overall, I thought it was a really good practice, really good A-Day game.
All right. I think a lot of people, the people who walked away Saturday disappointed, probably came in with the wrong expectations for A-Day, and walking away expecting, first of all, to have a quarterback competition resolved. The worst thing that could have happened Saturday, in my opinion, DC, is if both if one quarterback had played superior to the other one, and it been an obvious 1 versus 2. I think both of these guys showed themselves well enough that you feel like you can win with them, but they both showed some things that they can coach and work on through the summer. With that said, we didn't really get into it yesterday. We talked about good, bad, and ugly, but we really didn't get there. So I'll circle back today. X, you can go ahead and get your ugly ready as well. But DC, what was your ugly from yesterday? I mean, from Saturday.
Well, I guess the ugly part of what I could tell, and I don't know if this is really ugly. I hate to single out anybody. I didn't especially think that Jermaine Burton played very well. I don't think his attitude was very well. I don't think his catching the ball was very well. And I guess it's ugly, but it was, in my opinion, disappointing. I guess as coming back for a final year and not taking advantage of the opportunity that he was given in this game to really do well, and he had all the ability it seems like, but it just there's some kind of disconnect there.
Yeah,
so I'm not sure what that is, but that I would say that's the ugly part of that based on what I saw.
but his coach gave him praise by name. So
Yeah, I know he must not been watching what I was
watching. so you're saying that he was looking at a different part of the game when all of the drops or the loafing happened.
Well, either that or he feels like he's the type of person that doesn't respond to criticism, which that may be true since we've seen some of his actions in the past.
Yeah, but I hope, I understand not responding to criticism, but that wasn't not giving criticism. That was giving flat out praise. I mean, he praised him of all. He only mentioned, I think, 2 receivers by name, and that was Burton and Henderson. So I thought that was an interesting take, but we can circle back on that when we talk about the wide receivers as a whole. X, what do you have from an ugly standpoint?
From an ugly standpoint, honestly, it's not even with players on the field, it's fan reactions to things. And that's just kind of what comes with the territory of being Alabama and where we've been over the last decade and a half. I think some of the talk from fans have made things worse than what they need to be when it comes to this quarterback competition.
DC, your thoughts on what X said?
Yeah, I agree with that. Fans and media reaction. There's always going to be somebody out there, media. I'm sure they had a story to go on the quarterback competition, went in for it looking for a particular thing, and then, like you said, Martin, early on in the broadcast today, it just didn't realize what this was all about. I think it's a very big reaction to that. But I was able to go and hear Coach Saban speak before A-Day at a Tide Pride luncheon. We spoke to a close-knit group with no media there, and he indicated that he is right where he wants to be with the quarterback situation. Even when, as far as to say that in the last 2 years, our team has been led by an all-star quarterback that we relied on to the detriment of other people on the team, and said that we've won with, as he put it, serviceable quarterbacks in the past, and we were in good shape in the quarterback room. So I don't think everybody has the perspective that he has, nor we have. And X is right. I think it takes it into a different direction when you have a competition like this.
Circling back on what you just said, DC, serviceable quarterback, game manager, whatever you want to call it, is the talent on this team enough? Which creates the biggest gap? Okay, the drop off in quarterback, because I don't care what anybody says, there's going to be a drop off in quarterback, and it's not just a drop off in quarterback; it's a drop off in quarterback play since the last four guys. We need to understand that by the time we see this team take the field for the first time, we're probably going to see the last four quarterbacks who have started for the Crimson Tide starting for an NFL team.
Yes.
Has any school ever done that? I don't know. I don't know if any school has ever had four quarterbacks go and then start in successive years all at the same time. So,
I agree. I can say that. I can say it unequivocally. It's never happened in Alabama.
Oh, I know that.
Alabama's never had four quarterbacks in the NFL, so we're on uncharted territory here. I don't think it's ever happened in any other college football team either. So we're definitely going to have a drop off at quarterback.
When was the last time we had a starter?
We're going to have a bad team. I think everybody takes that to mean we're going to have a bad team. Doesn't mean we're going to have a bad team at all. We had good teams.
When did Bart Starr retire? And when did Richard Todd get drafted?
Richard Todd was the late 70s, right, DC?
Yes.
Yeah, so Rich,
late 70s, 78, 79.
wasn't Richard Todd the last full-time starter Alabama had? We had some guys. We've had guys start. We've had some guys start games, like
Yeah, he's the last full-time starter. You're talking about going into a season knowing he was going to be the starter.
Or took over the team and it was his team and not waiting on somebody to come back from injury. AJ started, right?
You mean starting at quarterback too? Because I think Jeff Rutledge started at holder on a bunch of Super Bowl games for the Giants, but not at quarterback.
I'm gonna get you guys to respond to Curtis Lewis said QB situation makes this team not, all caps, a championship team this year, because to get to that level at QB will take more than a first year as a starter. Has Nick Saban won a championship without a first-year starter?
AJ's the only one.
I'm talking about, but AJ's first championship.
AJ won it as a first-year starter.
His first one was a first-year starter.
What about Coker?
Coker was a first-year starter.
One-year starter.
Yeah.
McElroy was a.
I think AJ and Coker and McElroy.
McElroy was a first-year starter.
Yeah.
Matt was.
Matt Jones,
Matt Jones was the first-year starter.
So, I mean, I'm not saying that all these guys. I mean, we're gonna go to break here, but I want you to think about it. And the point I was gonna make about having four successive starters. Now, do these guys have to improve from what we've seen? Absolutely. But can they do that? I don't know. But here's the question: is this offensive team potentially a better offensive team week in and week out, game in and game out, because we're going to have 10 other guys who all may be better than their respective positions, player by player by player by player? And does that collectively make this team potentially even better. Is this the formula that won Georgia back-to-back championships? That's going to be the question. We'll answer it on the other side. We'll answer it on the other side. And C.J. Washington in there. Jalen is the only one. Jalen was a second-year starter, and Tua was his backup. So that's the only one, that he's won without a guy who is starting his first time. But every first-year starter, those QBs were.
If you don't think Ty Simpson and Jalen Milroe can be a serviceable quarterback,
okay.
Stetson Bennett could be. I don't know what to tell you.
And we'll get to it on another.
I'll go ahead and throw this out there before you go to break. Pat Forey wrote an article yesterday, said it's over with. Alabama is nothing like they've ever been before. And then at the end, of course, he did admit he wrote the same thing in 2015. That didn't bode well. So it's a good year for us to come back with a great team based on what everybody else is saying. And that goes along with what X just said about the fans and the media kind of going in the wrong direction on this thing.
Those quarterbacks were from a different era of football where QBs wasn't a playmaker. Even Stetson Bennett was serviceable in that era. So football has changed since the last two championships.
No, I disagree with that.
We can talk about it. I mean, that's it. That's an opinion for us to discuss on the other side. Pat, hold on. We'll get you in on the conversation. Appreciate you all being a part of the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. We have DC Capstone Report. We'll continue to break down A-Day and quarterback play and quarterback eval and whatever else you may have on your slate this morning. Give us a call, 205-342-9904. That's the Alabama One hotline.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, we start our Tuesday morning with a wreck on US 82 eastbound at Daffron Road down in Duncanville. You can expect some delays. If you see other conditions, give me a call. Now's the time to trade at Townsend Nissan because your car is worth more now than ever before. Go see BJ and the team at Townsend Nissan. I'm Captain Ray.
In a collision, easy decision. Make one call to one name. Mesrano, 206-6300.
No representation made the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain-free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Find your local Tuscaloosa Good Feet store in the Midtown Village.
For adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy, now there's Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months, and Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Nothing in me go hand in hand. Nothing on my skin, that's my new plan. Nothing is every day.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, you could achieve 90% clearer skin. Ask your doctor about the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The sky partially sunny today, the high at 73. Tonight, increasingly cloudy with the low at 56. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, rain likely by afternoon, the high 71. Thursday, showers and a few strong thunderstorms likely with a high at 76. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 46 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at softmarkdesign.com.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
All right, guys, welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin, Xavier, and DC Capstone Report. Interesting question being posed by C. Lewis this morning. If Nussmeier of LSU hit the portal, do you think Saban would go after him? Question mark. That tells you where we are, where we're at on QBs and Saban's expectation of that position for this year. But Nussmeier is a first-year quarterback too. So, question.
Nussmeier's not even the starter at LSU.
What I'm saying,
still Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I mean, does he go after him, DC?
I don't think so. I don't think Coach Saban is going to go after a quarterback in the portal unless someone who is too good to turn down appears in the portal, or somebody that he can develop for another year. I don't think he's going to. I think he's got two quarterbacks that he feels like he can win with, and he loves the offense. He loves the team chemistry. Keeps telling you how much he loves his team, and it's different than last year. You got people that are buying in, and he's happy with that. So I don't see him going out and getting the portal. I could be completely wrong, but I think that's something that's been manufactured by people and media who doesn't like our quarterback situation.
Yeah, and I think there is a condition that he could, if one of these guys transfers, or there are rumors of in him knowing there's a potential that he could potentially be a guy that that leaves. If he knows that, then that's part of it.
If he knows that, that's because he knows something we don't
Right.
know. But knowing everything we know right now, I think we're going to go out there at Middle Tennessee State, and the first depth chart is going to list Jalen Milroe / Ty Simpson as quarterback, and both of them.
Okay.
Agreed.
And Nussmeier played well, okay, in the limited time we saw him. But you know, Jaden Daniels isn't a great quarterback, in my opinion. I mean, nothing to write home about. And Nussmeier didn't beat him out and hasn't beaten him out yet. Doesn't mean he won't. Is he far superior to what we have? And would you lose DC more than you gain if you bring in a guy like a Nussmeier? Now, if you were to bring in someone that started 2 or 3 years from somewhere else, then you might hold on to a couple of these guys. But if you bring in a guy, I think that that's in the same boat that hasn't started, I think you end up hurting your program for 1 to 2 years, because I mean, I don't know that, but that's just my thoughts on it. What are your thoughts?
I agree 100%. I think that if you bring in someone that just started somewhere else, has set records and different things, and that's one thing. But if you bring in a quarterback that's along the same line as unproven as the 1-2 you have, I don't think that bodes well for your program or for the other people in your program.
Or future recruiting. You know, if you're Eli Holstein, what are you thinking if he brings in a guy like that has 3 years of eligibility left? You know, for him to, because you're going to bring him in to be the starter this year. So, and Aiden said, "Give me Grayson McCall or give me death." I guess that's a distinct possibility. I want you to guys be noodling on something. one of Curtis's responses was QB situation will make this team not a championship team this year because to get to that level at QB will take more than a first year as a starter. Who's the favorite to win the championship? And we're going to get Pat, but I want you guys to think on this. The final 6 teams in the final ranking last year: Georgia, TCU, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Tennessee. And the only one I'm not sure about, and I think one of these doesn't look like the others, I think it's Michigan. So I think Michigan's quarterback is coming back. You know, you know, I mean, think about it for a second. That's right. Michigan's only starter coming back. I think so. So let's get to Pat, and then we'll circle back on that question. Pat, you're in with Martin, Xavier, and DC. What's on your mind, sir? Hello. All right, Aiden. There's a dead on my side. Testing 1, 2, 3. All right, all of y'all on this side, give me a chance. I'm not sure what's going on technically, so hang in if you're on the live stream. Aiden, I can't hear anything. All right, are we back yet? I still can't hear anything on my side. Let's go to break.